States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next order of business is roll call. Larry, you want to start us off on the roll call?
Yeah, here, Larry Gonzalez.
David Hatchell.
Megan Poole. Allie Pollock.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kyle Wigan. Yeah. Robin Godey, Library Director.
Bridget Sorensen.
Jim Shelley.
And Michelle McCullough as ex officio from the council.
Great, thank you. Next thing is the consent agenda, which is both reviewing tonight's agenda, any changes, additions or deletions to the agenda for tonight?
I did have a change to suggest, Chair Tim, which is that we move the item 9A to right after public comment.
Oh. Very good.
Well, we'll have to change the agenda then before that. Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, because if we approve the agenda as amended, the
Oh,
consent
right,
agenda
okay.
still is happening right now. And then we could still invite public comment, and then we could do it as
Yeah.
elect the
Okay.
officers next.
Very well. Has everybody read any additions or deletions from the minutes or mistakes? Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda. With the agenda being, tonight's meeting being changed where I am elect of new officers moves up to right after public comment. Don't have a motion,
So moved.
so move the second,
I second.
very good. David is seconded, moved, and Bridget is second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No thought. Next thing is public comments. Robin, have you had any public comments?
I have not received any public comments, and I don't see any members of the public present, except Kai, who's hasn't indicated she was going to do a public comment, so.
Very good. So the next thing on our agenda is election of officers, a chair and a vice chair. Serving for a one-year term. So,
I did not receive any nominations through email.
so is there any nominations for the chair position?
Would you like to do it again, Tim?
I'm sorry that I've taken on another volunteer job and I can't, my time is stretched, but thank you for the, I feel honored that you asked again. I know Alan asked again.
You see how we're just hoping.
I just can't take it on right now. The time is.
Oh, and Larry's gonna be gone, isn't he, pretty soon? Right, Larry? Larry?
Yeah, I'm in and out of the US and then I'm in school and then I'm gone in June.
You, Bridget?
Bridget?
Oh, I've done it before.
You did a great
You
job.
did a great job.
It's
How about you, David?
pretty new. You've been here. You kind of know what's going on. To me, it makes perfect sense.
That sounds to me outstanding sense. There is another responsibility though that we didn't have in the past. That's that you need to meet with Robin.
Oh, that's true, yeah,
a
we were
week-
not
a
doing
week
that before.
before
Yeah,
to set the agenda, or 2 weeks before the first Wednesday of the month. And that's basically the only change, and you have your choice of doing that by Zoom or
On the phone.
on the phone
in person.
or in
Okay.
person. And Robin is very
I'll be up to it.
flexible.
Yeah, I nominate Bridget.
Okay. Well,
Second that.
Bridget Short has been nominated second for chair of the library board for the year 25-26. It's a one-year term. All those, any more discussion? I think Bridget will be a great chair.
Yep.
So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Any nays? Okay. So do you get to take over? You take over now?
Oh,
Yeah.
for God's sake, I do, don't I? Okay. Okay, so now we need to elect the vice chair. Anybody up for vice chair? We could do the,
So the vice chair, I'll just say, runs the meeting when the chair is absent, and that is the only additional responsibility for the vice chair.
so who all has another year at least
I
here?
do, are you gonna be around for the whole?
Another year?
You have a trip?
But my attendance depends upon my son, so I.
Those things always improve over time.
I will step forward for.
Oh,
this.
okay.
Oh, okay, great.
Perfect. Anybody else? So, David's been,
I'll nominate David Hack for vice chair.
hmm? Any seconds for that?
Second that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposing? Okay, David Hatcher is the vice chair for next year.
Thank you, David.
Okay, so moving on to the library's strategic plan review.
We're gonna, if it's okay, we moved the electing the officers 9A up, but if we could keep the rest of 9 where it is.
Oh, I'm
that would
sorry,
be
yes.
helpful
I
for
have
me
to-
and my little prep that I did
Okay,
as it is.
yes.
Okay,
So library director's report.
well, I'd first of all like to welcome Megan to your first meeting. Congratulations. Thank you so much for volunteering to be on the board.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. And I just wanted to mention that this year's summer reading, we've had phenomenal attendance at our events. Over 100 people at 3 events so far this summer. And so every year the staff try to evaluate, when we're scheduling events, try to maximize access. And so we tried Saturdays again last year and we just didn't really have very good attendance, and decided that maybe families are away or it didn't work for people's schedules as well. The year before we had done Wednesdays. We tried Thursdays this year and it seems to be a really good, it seems to be working really well this year. And just, I love that we're bringing the community together in a positive way in these numbers, to get to know each other, make new friends, engage in something positive. So that's really wonderful. And then I did want to highlight, I wanted to say that summer reading has been so popular and well attended that we're running short of giveaway books. So we're trying to, we have more on order, but for a couple of things coming up, we're not going to be able to feature the books as much. So for the car show, for example, we'll have a craft and stuff going out in front of the library, but we'll keep the books inside for kids haven't signed up yet. We'll send them in to do it. A national night out on the 31st, we will have giveaway books, because sometimes people come to that who hadn't made it to the library in the summer and hadn't signed up, and so we wanted to make sure we had books for that, so we ordered some more.
a question, Robin. Was that a funding choice, a lack of funds, or what was the story for not being able to order those?
We did order more. We
Oh,
did
okay.
order more. we do, you know, budget for a certain amount of funds for giveaway books. We get some from the county. And then the Friends of the Library have funds they donate for giveaway books. And so, and we're dipping into our like program, our fund also for those, but, we. I'm we
asking,
planned the best we could. We're just having more numbers than we planned.
and so what's the shortfall, do you think? Number wise, dollar wise?
I don't know off the top of my head, Larry. I could follow back up with you.
Yeah, if you do that, that'd be great.
Okay. But getting lots of books into kids' hands.
Oh, they're amazing, by the way. We got one and I think we read at least 100 times. And we learned the word blueberries.
It's a lot. That's great.
It's a 3-page book.
Yeah. All right. So 6 minutes, do you want to move on to the library statistics?
Sure. So there's 2 statistical reports, and one is in the packet that I think I just printed one.
Oh, here.
Well, that one didn't make it into the packet.
Oh.
So, it's up there, but it's, for June. Just over. We were up a bit from last June, actually over 6%, from last June. And just a lot of great things going on in the library. And, you know, lots of traffic of people coming in. Then Eric pulled together, as we concluded the biennium budget cycle, Eric pulled together a retrospective of our outcomes for using our funds for 2 years. And so, and this is the one that I put the corrected one. This is still the incorrect one. So, oops, I should pull up the other one. The only thing that's incorrect is the number of open hours. It's actually 5,211. I think on the corrected one in front of you, yeah. So, that's just the only number that, something got left out. That looks like 1 month got left.
What
out.
was happening in March that has a dip there?
Eric and I were both talking about that, wondering we were trying to tie it to something in particular. And we don't know exactly. Larry, do you have any ideas?
Was he out of town in February?
I don't know. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of
Sometimes we
difference
just
there.
don't know.
Is that the snow days?
I can't remember where I was in March. It's,
What could drive it, what I typically see a high correlation of is when we add a lot of new popular items the month before, the following month, we have a jump in checkouts, and so it's possible that there were just there's a lot of spring publishing. And I do remember a lot of spring publishing coming out, so that could have been it. Oh, okay.
You've got 3 minutes for the financial report,
Okay,
unless there's more questions on it.
okay. Any questions on the biennium retrospective? Is it something that is interesting that you'd like to see again, or
I find it interesting.
because we hadn't really done one like that before with 2 years,
Yeah,
like a whole budget cycle.
it's nice to see that in I think in all areas, we're
Yeah,
making progress in what we've been attempting to do.
Yeah,
As far as reaching out, we're definitely reaching out
mhm.
in both circulation and programs here. And that's very good to see.
yeah, it gives you a pretty clear picture of where that budget goes. All right. I have a few things to say about our finance report. And, or should I go ahead and?
Yeah.
do that? Okay. We are still waiting for some final numbers on a few things. We're budgeted in the approved adopted city budget, we're budgeted a certain percentage of the general fund. And I don't have the final number for our general fund support yet. Because it's based on the taxes that are actually received. And a percentage of those, so. What was in the adopted budget was the estimated amount. Forecast amount, and I think it might have been a little higher. Also, what you don't see in the report, but I think we covered when the budget was first adopted 2 years ago, was that in order to maintain our operations and be fully funded with some of the goals we had, we were dipping into our reserves. The budget had us for 2 years using $91,000 of reserves. Once we get the final number on our general fund support, the final number of what our opening balance earned in interest, our final number in spending, I can say that because our revenue went up $44,000 more, our non-general fund revenue than expected, and we also saved about $30,000 of money we didn't need to spend that was budgeted to spend, that we could be not having to go into our reserves or just maybe $10,000 or so, which is great. I was hoping that we wouldn't have to use those, and then the budget that was just adopted doesn't have us using our reserves for a fully funded budget, unless the new allocation from the county doesn't materialize in year 2, then we would be going into our reserves, more than likely. Unless, we found another revenue source.
10 minutes.
Okay. So those were the main points I wanted to make about our financial situation.
I know we're on time. I got 2 questions. That when will you know about the funds from the county?
I'll go over the timeline on that, later in the
Okay.
meeting today.
And the budget, I know you wanted to like replace carpets and stuff.
That made it into the budget.
Oh, good.
A new carpet for the library made it into the budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So ongoing business, if there's no more questions for that. Ongoing business, the funding and governance update.
Oh, whoops, I forgot one thing, excuse
Yeah.
me.
Oh, go ahead.
I just did put in what the new budget report will look like. Because now our facilities costs are coming out of a different fund, so it's more streamlined. So this is just an example of how it'll look going forward. Again, we don't know this, what our exact library department fund balance is until so we have final numbers on things, but this is for 2 years. Okay, now I will go on to address David's question. And because of a work session yesterday, I also got an updated timeline that I think I will actually pull up for you all. Because it's a good overview. Oh dear.
Everybody go sideways. Oh, there we go.
Try my share again now that it's open. Okay. Alrighty. So there was a work session yesterday for the funding and governance in Hillsborough that Bill and I attended all afternoon. And this is a timeline of the whole project. You can see it's a multi-year project. It's facilitated by consultants. And that first phase one, there's like a light blue phase one that goes kind of through 2024. That was things like, gathering information, evaluating, defining success, evaluating the current state. They did the community survey that had 18,000 responses. And like, what does success look like? What are we doing now? And then we went on to that, starting to define what a future state could look like and what our alternatives are under the constraints we have. And so we've worked through a lot of that work, and we're here where this green arrow is now. And we're kind of deep into phase two, which is coming up with a near term, which is they're considering the next 5-year levy cycle, near term funding formula that's transparent and easy to explain to everybody. And that's providing more equity in service to every household in Washington County. So we're doing that work, and we're trying to get to a formula everyone can agree on. There's a lot of there's strong feelings that no library should have a reduction, because a reduction in allocation from Washington County is going to mean a reduction in service for an area. Well, in order to level the playing field more, it's difficult to not do that. And so we're in a little bit of a point trying to figure out options. Do they want to go into the reserves more? Do they want to phase in some of the new allocations? That wouldn't be good for us. We don't want to phase in our new allocation if possible here. Because it is sort of righting an imbalance that we have currently between general fund and county funds. So I will say that it's been interesting, and that's where we are, still trying to figure out that formula and
Question.
implementation. Yes.
Are they considering also, like a combo thing, so reserved and maybe phase out reductions so that it's not an immediate full reduction, but
Oh, yeah.
so the
Oh,
others
yeah.
can stay? Because I know
Yeah.
that it's a very different thing to have a reduction for a very large city versus the small ones, and in terms of that impact.
Yes. So there's some more details on what I had in your packet. It kind of went through more of what the work sessions contained. It's our
Yeah.
work session schedule, and the one we just did. I can't say that we really covered these questions that are listed here, because people are stuck on what should the formula actually be and how it should be implemented. These things that Michelle is asking about, like different options for implementation. So what we do need to do, and what they're gonna do in the next work session, July 31st, is to take the information they gathered yesterday or that was Monday, sorry, Monday, and provide options to partners. Well, this is executive board only, which executive board is the city managers and the presidents of the nonprofit organizations. Our city manager, he'll be on vacation, so I'm acting city manager, and he has put me down to go to this. That's fine. I know Bill and I are very aligned, and I don't have any problem speaking up and not that, and we're important. Like, I never feel like we're dismissed for being the smallest library or anything like that. So I feel that what I've said in these meetings has had impact and influence. So I'm fine doing that. I will speak about the challenges of phasing in a new allocation for us here because of how inequitable things have been, that we would like that to be resolved as soon as possible, not now that there's data that shows how North Plains community members are receiving less funding per capita, I'd like that to be corrected as soon as possible, right? So I don't have any problem saying that. In a nice way. So that is your update on the project. We have this as a standing agenda item every month. So you can know where we are in this project and, of course. A big factor in this is the success of the levy. For this plan to work, the levy in November must pass, that is. Funding WCCLS. And it's a countywide levy, and so Lisa Tattersall, the manager of WCCLS, will be presenting to city council on August 4th. I will be attending that meeting and running the Zoom. For that meeting, in the absence of the city manager in person. And I will be presenting about the levy to some community organizations. I'm signed up to do a presentation to the Chamber of Commerce, and I am to reach out to CPO8 and do a presentation for them. So I will do so.
So what happens? So end of September, you decide what the decision's made. And then we have the levy come out. What happens if the levy doesn't pass?
That would be pretty catastrophic, for
They've always passed, so. haven't they?
funding. So then we'll, they're not putting a whole lot into that scenario yet, or maybe they are behind the scenes. We haven't done work on that in the work sessions. But that would, then we'd have to go a different direction. It certainly would impact services because in the new funding model, with the levy replacement, which is a higher rate countywide, but here in North Plains, that will translate to less general fund. So if you live in the city limits, right now you have X amount of dollars, you're paying the county levy and through your general fund taxes here in the city towards library. When the levy goes up a little, everyone will be paying that in our service area. So it won't have as much of the heavy lifting being done by those living in the city to maintain our wonderful library services. So
Which
it's
is fair, we're all.
it's
used to it,
a little
yeah.
more fair, I agree, and
Back to my question.
sure,
You mentioned about getting funds from the county.
Yeah.
And am I seeing that, I'm confused on two things.
Oh, sure.
One, the levy. Passing.
Yeah.
And the other, reading this, I'm seeing that it'll be at the end of next, 2026.
Yeah.
That fiscal year.
yes,
So where are we at?
right, so once they decide on the new formula and we know what our amount will be, that amount will be in the second half of the biennium budget that's been adopted.
Of our biennium.
Our biennium budget
Right,
will receive the new allocation in the second half. We have one more year of the current agreement.
okay.
So we
thank
know
you.
what
That-
we're getting
that
this fiscal
explains my
year.
question.
Okay, great. Any questions I may or may not be able to answer about the funding and governance process? It's very complex and interesting. I'm glad we have the consultants we do. They're really
That was 10 minutes, perfect.
oh wow.
So now on to the library strategic plan review.
Okay. So there's a couple reasons this is on the agenda, and I did attach the whole strategic plan for you all. But one of the reasons is that we have a new board member, Megan, and so Tim thought it would be a good idea to review it. And then another reason is we have a work session coming up with city council, where this will be something we talk about, and we talk about how we're communicating with city council on progress, feedback. From what I understand, the work session is to determine good ways to communicate between council and our board. And then also think about how the library's communicating successes to council as we reach our strategic plan goals and that are aligned with the pillars that city is working towards as the kind of citywide goals. So kind of a way to show how what we're doing aligns with the pillars and carries out our strategic plan. And so I'll go down just to and then our service area is gonna change with the funding and governance. We have our mission through equitable access to our collection and services. We empower gathering, connection, lifelong learning and creativity. I had the Oxford comma in there, but my staff didn't let me keep it. But okay, is that it? This is almost identical to the state library's mission that they did after we did ours, so. Just saying.
They
they
copied
might have- That's pretty cool though. And then our vision, the library is the heart of North Plains where everyone is welcome in our growing and changing community. And we have some new neighborhoods. We have a lot of new faces in the library over the past few years and we're happy people are finding us and hope they're feeling welcome. That's our goal. Then we have these focus areas or service responses, which translate into goals. And so what we don't have right now, really, we used to have a dash or a spreadsheet that Andy Varner, our former city manager, had us with like kind of council goals and our various projects and things sort of mapped out on it. And we don't really have a current dashboard. We certainly, when we were planning, we were using these criteria for our priorities, and we are collecting evaluations. When we do things, for example, community members of all ages will discover new skills, stories, and hobbies through library programs, materials, and outreach. So we do evaluations for programs. Did you learn something new today? Like we use these criteria to evaluate what we're doing, but we don't have a real great way of reporting it out right now. And so that's something that would be good to work on with council and kind of see what should that look like citywide and what's our part in that. And that's okay. I mean, we were using it. It's a great guidance. We just don't really have the reporting and communication part down in a consistent way right now. But some examples are for service response 1, we just had Dances of India program, 192 people came.
Oh, wow.
People learned different dances that people do in India. Nicole told presented about it. There's food to try and that kind of thing. So that is something that, is a lifelong learning thing we brought to the community. That's a big, that would be something I would put on as a outcome or output for this
Right.
service response.
Well, yeah, the number of
On a
people too, that
dashboard.
190, that's pretty good.
Right.
I'm impressed. Yeah.
Yes, it was huge. And then focus area service response 2, celebrate diversity, increase equity, cultural awareness and inclusion. We're wrapping up a second Libraries Transforming Communities Access grant that's increasing our accessibility of our library in a pretty dramatic way. We had the first round, $20,000 that revamped our public computer area. And now we're wrapping up a second round that's getting around and finding your way around the library easier for people of all abilities. And so that's a really big achievement in this area that will be wrapping up soon.
We have
We'll
the
be able to
computer room,
communicate. Yeah.
that's neat too. You can,
Yeah.
if you have hard of hearing or if you can't see, there's all sorts of,
Yeah.
you can use the systems in there.
Yeah, we're using universal design principles, which really benefit everyone because it's when you can use things no matter your age, ability, language, etc. That's really benefits everyone. And then for the third service response area, create readers literacy for all ages. some, over the past year, some achievements have been, Emily being full-time was able to offer her ABCs 1, 2, 3s 10 class series for early literacy, and also a ready to read workshop for parents and caregivers to learn how to teach literacy at home. We also started a English for English learning for people who speak different languages, at home. And that is through a partnership with Goodwill Industries, and it's a weekly class that people attend regularly in the library. And then we also had a digital navigator provided by the county for a lot of the year to help people with their digital literacy. And so we're doing, we're very aligned with our goals, and we have this posted in the library and we use it, as we're planning things. It's just, we want to find out what's the best way to report it so we can make sure the community knows, council knows what we're doing, you all know. And so that is something that, I want to just have a few minutes to talk about. That's in September, is when we are meeting with council. Is that right? So,
Yeah, can I
Okay.
share a little bit about that?
please.
So council is meeting with each of the boards and commissions. I think we're meeting with PICDEV this next meeting. To do a work session there, the Parks and Rec and then library. And, with the idea of sharing the pillars and goals that we put forward so that everyone knows what they are. And for us to find out what's going on in terms of the goals and activity within the various areas, but where people are on their strategic plans. And some plans, their plans are very different, of course, to suit the need of whichever department it is. Some are more like a checklist, do A, B, C, and D. Some are much broader in terms of focus your programming and your ideas in these areas, like the goals here. And so, but it's really to help the council have a better understanding what the commissions are working on, what the city is working on overall in terms of all of that activity of those goals. Because sometimes when we don't hear about it, there's they think that it's not happening, or they don't know, or they haven't looked at the downtown plan, for example, or maybe not seen the strategic plan. So it's an effort to make sure that that communication is there. And it was set up so that we would be doing these sort of in-depth work sessions once a year, I believe, if I'm correct, and then have quarterly reports from the boards and commissions about, any issues or how it's going. So I think there's like 3 areas. One is, sharing our goals and our pillars and what came out as budget priorities, but really they're just general priorities as well. 2, to look and hear what yours are and to hear where you are in your plans currently, and how we can support that. And 3, one of the other things we're looking at is, later after all of this, we'll be looking at membership. There's been some questions about how can we make sure that we're getting a broad membership base. So thinking about, should there be a limited number of terms? What's the benefit to that? What's the negatives on that? Because I think there's certainly negatives at times to sort of say, always turn people over. But there's also an advantage to bringing new people in. So, helping us sort of develop that, but having a voice to that. And then any other questions and concerns you have for the council in order to support the library law. And that's the goal of this meeting.
Who facilitates it?
It is going to be just an open session, and I think we'll hopefully have an agenda that runs down those things. It was presented with 3 agenda topics. I presented it as a ongoing means of staying connected to the commissions and boards. And that's what the council passed. And the other idea would be also that we're a little late as council this year. But typically the council would be doing that goal setting work for the council in January and February. So that things would line up a little bit better and not wait till September to hear about some goals for the year. And that was part of it too, I think.
Yeah.
So when is our date again?
I haven't gotten a date yet.
Oh, okay.
No, I just know it's in September. It looks like they're doing them. I don't know this for certain, but it looks like it would be the second meeting of the month.
So
I know that
what
I know
date,
that-
Debbie?
economic.
I can look, I can look, Michelle.
Yeah, but we can also change it if that doesn't work for the board, right? So, because these are joint meetings. I know that Economic Development canceled their meeting that month and they'll be doing it with us,
Hmm.
based on.
So that would be September,
And
September 15th. Monday, the 15th,
Lori can give you that.
and it would be probably 6 PM then, I guess,
Probably.
probly the hour before
Yeah.
city
We,
council.
we have some new things that have just surfaced, so that may take
Yeah.
a little bit timing wise, but
I think
at this
that,
point, it's scheduled for September. And I'm excited, you know, we all come one by one, and then we get to report out at the meeting, but it's not the same as sitting down all together to hear, you know, the great work of the board, the great work of the library, you know, what the goals are, what you're working toward, what your dreams are. And it's an opportunity to do that.
So right now is September 15th.
More than likely.
that's something you can
Maybe.
pencil in until,
Lori said,
Okay.
Lori, the city recorder and the city manager set those meeting dates, so I don't know for certain. I know the other two are running in conjunction as work sessions before the council meetings, which are Mondays.
I tried to
First
get
and
that
third
pinned
Monday.
down before this meeting, but wasn't able to
Okay.
due to some other things going on, but. I think, you know, if that works, it'd be good to let me know if that works for you, since that's the most likely date and time right now, September 15th. At 6, and I can send a follow-up email to you all to see. What your likelihood of being able to attend is. You know, as your,
You want us to send that, or you wanna do, or you could do a roll right now?
if people think they have access to their calendars and so forth right now. You certainly could, let me know,
This is Larry.
because
I can
everybody's
do it.
here. Okay,
I'm pretty sure I'm good, but it's a long ways.
What
out.
time on September?
6 o'clock,
I don't know if I'm leaving town on the 13th or the 17th, so. I
so
may
you're a
be.
maybe,
Maybe.
okay? Maybe.
And since this one is kicking off late this year, the next year will be, much more on track, and it puts the library in June.
In June?
Yeah,
Okay.
but really, what was signed off by the council was aligning the work of boards and commissions with council goals, progress on related city plans, parks master plan, downtown improvement plan, strategic plan, etc. And discussing completed current and proposed projects, and then other things that are really relevant.
What's the plans of this facilitation?
I think it's
of,
actually just gonna run as a straight agenda item with each of those topics.
Okay,
And I can, now that I have those topics, I can prepare like a slideshow. Can I get anyone some water? I meant to get some water out of the fridge.
I did not see I haven't seen what's come out for the economic development one that's happening on Wednesday. So I don't, or I'm sorry, on Monday, and so I don't know on that agenda how they handled that. But that was the intention, is to go in with just sort of those very quickly. And there was a handout that was sent out
Oh,
to
okay,
everyone
great.
a few months ago.
Oh,
before
right.
The boards and commissions.
Was it, this
Oh.
stuff for, sort of bring out more for everyone?
Yeah, I meant to get a few out before we started, just because of the heat and everything,
Okay.
in case people didn't have water. Thank you, David. I'll go reread that, Michelle and, or Counselor Paul Wallace and get us organized, make sure I have the date.
Yeah, and I think it's just meant to be more of a conversation, really just kind of, you know, everybody meeting everybody and, you know, we don't talk about it. We don't have a long time in council reports to go on and on about the meetings and what happens and actually Robin still all the glory presents it all before then.
Is anyone else wanting to?
I've tried to be proactive and I tried to make sure our budget was aligned with the,
I bring more if anyone else wants.
Yeah. And there's a few refreshments,
we're the only board that has, members outside the city limits.
I think Parks also does,
Park shows don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I do.
and there's XCAS as well. Because they have businesses, they might have businesses that are in the city, people outside, not certain, but I do know that Parks does, yeah.
Oh,
I thought except for council, every board and commission had some representation outside the city limits. Maybe I'm wrong. But,
I know the planning commission does.
yeah,
Yeah, so planning, so that would just leave the economic development, and I suspect that they would, given the business aspect.
sure.
Some of the people around it, yes.
Yeah, so I believe every, except for council, and I mean, really, one of the main reasons for that is that. The governing board decides how to spend money, and that's the money that's collected and that's paid by the people who live inside the city limits.
Yeah.
So you can't have other people deciding how to spend that money, because that's the representation taxation quandary, right? So that's why that's important that the governing board and the budget committee all live within the city limits, because they're deciding how that $2.17 is spent, that is collected
Yeah.
as our
Yeah.
permanent tax rate.
And all of the boards and commissions, by having representation of both, are advisory boards to the council, so essentially the council does get that information as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. But it's not anything to do with like, being exclusive. It's really just about the legal, way our government works. So,
And I will, I hear that it's not been really clear going out, and so I will bring that up at council as well to make sure that we're getting that.
okay,
Clear.
sure, I've
I'm a
asked,
little concerned about this next one going up, but we'll see.
yeah. I think this is helpful, and I think I can have a draft at our next meeting
Perfect.
for
Okay.
you all to kind of go through it. With you, and we can have it as our main agenda item, next month.
I thank you for that. That was my question for you tonight, because I was confused.
Well, hopefully I clarified it a little bit of what the plan was, and it's,
Yes, you
it does feel a little bit like being called before the bosses, right? So we don't want it to feel that way, that's not the intention at all, it's really about, becoming more familiar and more supportive and knowing what's going on.
I think it'll be really helpful to get guidance on how best to communicate out what we're doing. Besides our, all of the things on the monthly report are things that are aligned with our strategic plan. And in a snapshot way, but to get more specific, and call out some of those special projects. That'll be good.
Okay, so topics for future discussion? Nothing, well, we do have this draft. With the
Yeah.
next meeting would be something for
So-
future discussion.
So Chair Sorensen, we will, when we talk about making the next agenda,
Okay,
you and I will, remember that. Yeah.
okay. Does anybody else have any topics for future discussion? So any announcements and information, Friends of the Library update?
I
Who's
can give a
doing-
Friends of the Library
Okay.
update. So. There's an agreement that's gone through a few phases, with the Friends of the Library to share space in this building for a used bookstore. And it's we're really excited about it. It's a real morale booster, cause it sounds really cute how they're gonna do it. We've had our insurance provider CIS review the agreement through their underwriter and risk management departments. And then it went to the city attorney's office where Heather Martin kind of reviews that sort of thing. And so now, and of course, Bill, our city manager, is involved in all this. And so now it's just about at the final draft stage where we can sign it and provide the Friends with access to the building and so a few things are now moving because we're getting to that point. Public Works is gonna be clearing out that reception area in front of the surplus items. Kind of former desks and some records retention that still needs to be moved and so forth. And then also, this one, oh, with the Garlic Festival book sale coming up. The hope is that, you know, the friends store their items for that book sale in the garage of the Yellow House across the street. That they would be able to work in this building instead. You know, the hope was by the Garlic Festival is sort of the end goal I had, doesn't have to be that, it's just. Makes sense. Once they take all those books out, I'd like them not to go back in. But they have two operations, the big book sales and the ongoing book cart sale in the library, and their online sales that they do to raise money for the library. They've really managed their money well and went from about in their reserve fund about, I think like $2,000 to like $43,000
Wow.
or something.
Wow.
And that was the report in the last meeting. They had a meeting Monday. And then it looks like their final amount for that they've donated to the library this ending fiscal year was about $20,000. And that's what we have budgeted for them to donate
Wow.
So,
this year.
so the change in the, buying of books, part of it will be centralized is what we've heard in the new, within the WLS,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
And so will that occur with, when does that change occur in 2026 next summer or during 2025?
No, it's not gonna be until a year. It's not gonna start until our next budget cycle starts.
Okay,
So it's a 2-year process and
2027?
the next one.
okay, so friends can still make a contribution for
Yeah,
nothing for books and that.
we will still
And
need,
then when that engages, there'll have to be some discussion about, how we want to coordinate with them or how they want to coordinate with us or how they want to have things proposed.
Yep.
For the spending of their contribution to the library budget each year. But
Yep.
That's a couple years out.
it is a couple years out still.
Okay.
And just as a related note, they will still have access to withdrawn items to sell. The WCCLS has assured us that any items that we like weed from the collection to make room for other new items. You know, that's part of their inventory that they sell, that will still have access to those, even if the county bought them.
Oh, good.
That all the friends groups can still have that withdrawn inventory to use for fundraising purposes. They're gonna make that happen.
That's pretty generous.
Well,
Yeah.
they're a nonprofit and that's within the county's surplus policy, you know, and so it's good.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Mhm.
Okay, well, next up is city council update. Michelle, Nicolas.
I forgot to tell you when I sat down, is that I am using my phone, with the agenda and taking notes. I'm not over here, you know, texting out really fast in the middle of the meeting.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, but I always feel like you never know.
I didn't even
So,
notice. so.
And I will say that Robin always does a fabulous job reporting on the meetings. So then when we get to council reports, there's nothing left for us to say.
There's
And I'm not the only council member who has noted that. So I'm taking a few other anecdotal notes so that I can share sort of good things that have happened, like learning the word there. What I wanted to also say is thank you to Chair Tim for your service for the past year. And also congratulations for stepping up, Bridget and David, to the next year. And we just appointed as council Ally and Megan. So, you know, that's all very exciting things happening here. So thank you. I know Ally was the year, but was the month before.
Well, I mean, Tim and Ally were reappointed and
reappointed.
Megan was
Exactly.
newly appointed.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's right.
It's true, so Tim too.
Yeah.
So, it's great to, see all of that activity on the board. In terms of council, just to share a couple of things. One is council is going to participate in, or we think council is participating in National Night Out. It's up for discussion at the council meeting. With an activity we'll have similar to what the library did in terms of gathering info. We're going to have Wish Upon a Star. What do you wish for North Plains? And have people be able to decorate stars and write on them, with the intention to hang them on the tree in front of the annex. I think, to hang them in front of the annex, after the event, so people can come by and read them and see what they say. And we'll gather that info as well. So just as a, sort of
It's gonna be
collective from the pulse, of the city. And the other thing to tell you is that, there's public announcements made on social media yesterday, and the council all received a resignation from the mayor. And so just to let you know that that happened and that we will, she is leaving because of health reasons and, how that doesn't align with, basically the council requirements and rules for being in state and things like that. So we will be going through that process and we'll be hearing about that all at the next council meeting, but I just wanted you all to be aware of it, in case you've had questions or you're wondering about that, Buzz. And then other than that, if there's any other questions that you have in terms of what's going on with council, happy to
So
share.
how do you refill that position then?
So it's going to be refilled, I believe, I'm not positive, the attorney will fill us all in on it, but I believe it follows very similar to other appointed positions. So that it would be advertised, in the media and advertised for a certain time period, and then we would fill that position.
By voting again?
By interviews, applications and interviews and voting.
Okay,
And
so-
then if that were to be a council member that moved into that position, then we would need to do the same with the council position.
Oh,
I was an appointed council position that came in December last year.
Okay,
Okay. So the council members are currently able to apply
Yes,
for that
Any-
position.
yes, anyone who meets the criteria of living in the city, et
Yeah.
cetera.
Yeah.
I believe is able to apply. But I'm not sure. We'll hear more about it. This is all very new, and I know will be on our meeting agenda. So we'll hear about what the process is, and there will be a formal resolution to accept that resignation.
wow.
And that's Monday.
And anytime there's any other questions about council, please reach out to us, or, if you wanna know what's going on, or if we know, we'll tell you.
So is there any other questions for Michelle? Okay, then moving on, good of the order general announcements.
Other than the new chair got us right out on time.
So almost, we have to have
That-
a future meeting.
Oh, okay.
Next board is for August 20th. All
Okay.
good?
Okay.
She should be complimented for that.
Can I ask a question? Excuse me.
Sure.
We might go to 7:01, but how, now that since we're all here, I wanted to use this opportunity as your sort of business manager to ask about the meeting time of 6 PM. For this fiscal year, is that working for everyone? We had changed it from 7 to 6 when we got access to this meeting room. But I just wanted to check in on that and see if anyone.
Works for me.
It works for me too. Does it, I know you get off
I
work,
think
what
it's
time?
nice having it a little earlier
Oh, okay.
to
Yeah.
get home and have
This
dinner at
is
a
good.
decent time.
Yeah.
Okay. Wanted to give an opportunity in case we had any logistical things I
Yeah.
could help with.
Okay, if there's no other questions or comments, the meeting's adjourned at 7:01.
Thank you. Wow, good thing I rehearsed. That really helped.
So, I didn't want to forget, you guys were there, so thank you for that, so.
You're
I
all,
remember them all in my head.
you're all invited to Melly's
You're more than.
in town, Melly's. You're all invited to, do a little, afterward, Donna Medica is gonna meet us there. The outgoing board member who couldn't make it last month. And, we have, if you haven't signed her card, we have a card for Donna and
Yeah, I did.
then. Her little gifts up there, it's an orchid and a box of tea.
Oh, nice.
I never had a chance to make. And, so, and then. The city can get a few appetizers to share and that, but it's,
Get your.
yeah, it's
BYOB.
BYOB, cause, yeah, anyway.
Okay, good thing I
But
passed it.
thankfully we can do some refreshments again since we updated our,
That's true.
yeah, which is nice to be able to do.
I guess that's
For these
council
sort of-
news as well. We
I guess
heard that last meeting that
Yeah,
it was all through the state of Oregon essentially about being able to provide food and
Drink.
nominal kind of things to
Yeah.
at meetings and
like de minimis,
Yeah.
so it's for ethical reasons to make sure we're not doing extravagant, giving
No lobster and fish.
caviar and whatnot.
Surf and turf.
but
and-
that- but-
Yeah, you can have surf and turf, but it doesn't define what the surf is and what the turf.
Buy it at the store.
Bring your own, I found ads and.
And fish
of the
sticks.
Buy the restaurants in North Plains.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I guess, no. We don't have fancy catered events, but I mean, but it is nice to be able to buy locally and, yeah, thank you, Ty, again, for our, Ty's in a library and information science student and is interning with us this summer, and so I invited her to observe the library board.
So you're gonna come down and join us at Melly's?
Yeah, would you like to?
Maybe. But I really appreciate you guys opening the space up for me to.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you all wrapping up thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're adjourned.